So what did I do with the 6.5 bushel of sweet bell peppers that I got from the Amish auction that I showed you in the last video? Stay tuned and you'll see. It took me 2 days to chop all of those peppers. All I did was wash them and de-seed them and run them through the food processor. And because I just wasn't going to hand chop all of those peppers. And they work out just great that way. You just don't, chop them too small. This is the first batch that I ran through the food dryer. And I am about to show you the next batch.
Okay, so it has been a few days, and my freeze dryer, I've been freeze drying sauce and now tomato sauce, and now my peppers. So they've just come out of the freeze dryer, and I'm going to show you what that's like. So I use my handy dandy Dollar Tree bucket, and I just scrape them right out. And I have my freeze dryer defrosting. You always need to defrost it because it has a really thick layer of ice in the chamber whenever it's done freeze drying, because it pulls all that moisture out, and that's what just becomes the big chunks of ice up against the walls of the chamber. And once that's defrosted, I'm going to throw another load in. I will be doing peppers for weeks, probably. And y'all are probably thinking, what in the world is she going to do with all those peppers? I use peppers in everything. Because these are mostly red, and they're sweet, and they're mild, they go with pretty much everything. Alright, so all I'm going to do, grab my jars, and I'm putting these in jars instead of Mylar because I do plan on using them over the next year. I just take my big funnel, which I have a link for below, and I just fill up my jars. I'm going to vacuum seal these to make sure that they're fresh. So I make sure I wipe the rims. And I am using used canning lids. You can reuse canning lids when you're doing, with dry storage stuff, but you shouldn't reuse them for actually canning. Now, I suppose if push came to shove and there were no other options, I'd take the best of the used ones and use them. But as long as there are options available, I'm not going to do that. So, this is basically how it's done. Again, you have to make sure that the rim of this, just like in canning, the rim of this is debris free, nothing on it, or when you go to vacuum seal it. And I have a food saver and the lid that works with the food saver to vacuum seal these jars. So there you go. That's it. It's that simple. That's why I do it, because it's so easy to have on hand. Peppers get very pricey in the winter time, and you know, like buck and a half a piece sometimes. And I use a lot of them. So while 8 bushel was extreme, and I don't know how long that's going to last me, whether it lasts me more than a year or not, because like I said, I do go through a lot. My freeze-dried peppers and freeze-dried onions are two of my very favorite freeze-dried things, because I use them in everything, and I'm not chopping, and I'm not buying expensive stuff all winter long. I'm getting it when it's cheap. Who knows, with, you know, the way the weather was this year, with what they're talking about food shortages, I wanted to make sure I had plenty. So anyway, that's the whole thing with the Amish auction and the peppers and what I do with them and why I do them. And that's it. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. Like and subscribe if you haven't. I would appreciate it. And I would love to have you in my community. I'm touched that you guys care about what I have to say. So thanks a bunch. Love you. Oh, hear that defrosting in the freeze dryer? That's the ice cracking. So anyway, thanks guys. Love you. See you in the next video. Mwah.